Greece has a pretty tense week ahead of it. Nicholas Economides is a professor of economics at New York University Stern School of Business and joins us now live from San Francisco. Professor, really appreciate it. You've got a situation where the stock market won't open tomorrow. The banks won't open. Capital controls to stem the flow of money from panicked citizens. Where's this going?
It doesn't look good at all. These are direct consequences of the break in the negotiation. The Greek government decided to unilaterally break the negotiations and call for a referendum. And that implied that the European Central Bank would not give further more emergency liquidity assistance to Greek banks. And that means that the Greek banks are left with about $1.5 billion of reserves. They decided to close for 6 days, put a maximum of $50 to $60 withdrawal, so that the $1.5 billion can last them through that period. This is a very, very bad situation. It's unprecedented in over 60 years of Greek history.
So how do you see this playing out in the next few days, especially with the ECB saying, listen, no more further emergency funding? Clearly, the Greek banks are out of money.
Well, I think if the Prime Minister was sensible, he wouldn't have called for a referendum. And if he, at some point in time, comes back to his senses, he would resign, make a national unity government, and try to renegotiate with more cool heads with the debtors. I don't see him doing that. I think he's going to have a major defeat in the referendum next Sunday, and unfortunately, Greeks have to live and go to the referendum under very, very difficult circumstances. Now, once the government is defeated, then it will have to resign. There will be elections, and there will be a way out. And hopefully, the creditors are still going to be there, and we can have a reasonable deal. It's really very, very, very unfortunate that this negotiation has dragged out so long that we got to the final deadline, and Greece may not make it's very likely, actually, that it will not make its payment to the IMF at the end of this month. That is in a couple of days.
The thing is that the broader picture, and help us with this, whatever happens, even if they get some sort of deal, they're kicking the can down the road. Ultimately, I mean, debt is what, 180% or something of gross domestic product. Now, simple math, they can't pay it back. They're not going to be able to pay it back. Greece is bust, so somebody's got to give here.
Well, you may not know, but no country ever pays back its debt. The United States doesn't, Britain doesn't, nobody does. What they do is service it. They pay the interest on it. And Greece is extremely lucky right now to have most of its debt held by the European partners and by the stability mechanism. And that debt right now has an interest rate of about 1.8%. So although it's huge, it has a very small servicing cost. And Greece can, in fact, service it. So the crucial question for Greece is to get out of this cycle of asking for money, to reform its economy, to do well, to grow, and be able to pay the debt. I don't think there will be any problem whatsoever paying the money forever for this debt if Greece grows. So the crucial thing, and the crucial thing that we should look for in any agreement, is how do we get for the Greek economy to perform better, to be more competitive, to be in better shape compared to the rest of the world, and be able to grow. Once we do that, once we get there, Greece will do great. And in the spring of 2014, Greece was doing very, very well. It managed to go out to international markets and borrow at 3.5% interest rate. But then there were elections, and the wrong guys got elected. And that really killed the prospect of growth and got us wiped out 4 years of progress in very few months, and brought us back to this situation where there is serious doubts if Greece can stay in the Eurozone. But I really do believe that the vast majority of Greeks want Greece to stay in the Eurozone. They will vote for yes in this referendum, and hopefully we can get out of this very difficult situation very soon.
Yeah, but if there were another round of talks, you know, there's clearly a lot of deep mistrust between both sides, Greece and the Troika, and it just seems like, you know, they're going in circles. It's such a tedious process. You know, first there's hope of a deal, and then and then it falls through, and then there's hope of a deal, and then it falls through. Go ahead, we'll give you a quick few seconds. What did you want to say?
Yeah, I was going to say that this is the problem of this government. They're not credible. But that's why we need a different government. We need a different negotiating team composed of all parties in Greece, a national unity government to negotiate with the creditors, with much more credible people doing the negotiations.
The problem really is a government getting elected, making populist promises that ultimately they couldn't keep.
Exactly.
And the dose of reality. We wish we could talk more, Professor Nicholas Economides from the New York University Stern School of Business. Appreciate it. We'll get you back on and continue the discussion.
Thank you.